Now, here's News 5's William Jackson.
Well, they say a win's a win. That's what the Chiefs do. They sneak out of Arrowhead with a victory against Jordan Love and the Fighting Green Bay Packers. I'm Noah Groniger alongside Clint Schweitzer. The stars of the show are below us here. As you see, it's William Jackson, former KCTV5 sports director, and former Kansas City Chief himself, Bill Maas. Welcome to the show, guys. A winning show.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Oh, it is.
I just like the winning aspect of it.
Right. That's right. And that's the whole thing, too. You know, you get out of here with a win, but something we alluded to before coming on. Thankfully, Aaron Rodgers not in the lineup, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. There's no doubt about that, Bill. But my goodness, you know, this is, if you would have told us a week ago the Chiefs are going to lead the Packers 13-0 at halftime, they're going to walk away with a victory, we would have all been jubilant. Of course, lots went on since then. No Aaron Rodgers. Before we get into some of the negatives, the Chiefs win this game. They're 5-4. They're just a half game back in the first place in this division. And how do you feel like this defense was able to kind of carry the day here, answer the bell time and time again, and keep this game at bay for the Chiefs?
Well, you know, I think it's a little bit delusional. Don't get all hyped up about what you just saw tonight.
Yeah,
because
fair.
You know, like Steve Spagnuolo said during the week, he's like, you know, Jordan Love does a lot of great things, and we just can't commit to blitzing him all the time. He blitzed them all the time.
All day long.
He brought everybody in the house. He had no respect at all for Jordan Love's game at quarterback on one-on-one. That wouldn't have been the case if Rodgers was a quarterback. So, yes, it looked good. But I'm going to tell you something. Here's what I liked off the defense, right? I liked what I saw. I'm seeing 3 weeks in a row of a healthy Clark. I like the combination now. I'm seeing Melvin Ingram in the mix. I'm seeing Jones at his position that he dominates at when he wants to. And that front four can really turn this defense and help the secondary out like nobody's business, right? It really can. Down the stretch, you're going to see a transition in this defense change. I'm just telling you right now. I can't say that about the offense.
And when you talk about the offense too, Bill, I'm looking at the first possession, and they went down the field. Williams running like a possessed man, and they get it into the end zone to Kelsey. I said, could this be shades of Kansas City, the Chiefs team we know? But after that, things kind of fizzled out a little bit, huh?
Yeah, they did. They did. And you know, any station I talk on or any podcast I've talked on, if you've listened to me at all, I'm not I'm not bagging on him as a player. I'm just telling you, as a former player, it's a reality. When you become 30 years old, right? Things change. And there was a time 3 or 4 years ago, I said that Travis Kelce is a matchup nightmare. He's not anymore. Okay? It's not about his drops. I don't care about that. It's not about anything other than I'm telling you, if you watch what I'm watching, they are carrying him down the field. They're into his body. They've got a hold of his collar or his shirt, and he can't get off it anymore. He used to be able to. And that Travis Kelce that used to do that 3 years ago made the difference between the over the top and the underneath. But now that they've got him and teams have got him, you saw it in his eyes, his frustration a week or two ago when he's standing on the sidelines and he's just sitting there looking like, I have no idea what's going on, because somebody handed it to him. And I know that look because I was a player. And when they hand it to you, you're like, oh man, right? And that, so in the passing game, that's what's going on right now.
Yeah, for sure. We've seen it for weeks from Travis. Some people are wondering if maybe he's nicked up, and maybe that's why he's not being able to get off some of these coverages, playing tighter. We've seen him down, holding his wrist. We've seen him with a leg injury, hurt, not an injury, and he's come back in, but maybe he's a little nicked up. Maybe that's something that we can attribute that to. But I want to go back to kind of the defense, Bill. You mentioned a little bit. We see Mike Dana play a lot more at defensive end this game, moving Chris Jones back inside. But I think Jordan Love, he didn't do enough scouting this week, didn't know he was going to play till late. He found out late in the game that he located number 49, and he got a touchdown with Allen Lazard there, 49 whiffs going for the tackle, Dan Sorensen. Of course, I'm talking about. What do you think it is with Dan? How is he staying on the field? We have Armani Watts back there. I cannot believe that he's worse than Dan Sorensen.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of one of those things, right, guys? Like when things go bad, they just keep getting worse. And for the Chiefs and for Patrick and for Travis and for Dan Sorensen and for Neiman, I mean, that's just what it is. When they go bad, they just keep getting worse. And that's what we're seeing. But did you see what happened with Sorensen on that play? It was the same things that Spags always talks about. It was a blitz, okay? And he's sitting there thinking, they're going to get him again and maybe let me look back and I can get a pick, right? He didn't get a pick. He looked back. When you look back into the cookie jar, you're going to get your hands slapped. Ronnie Lott always used to tell me that. When you look back at the quarterback when you're covering, you're going to get your hands slapped. And that's what happened to him. Exactly what happened to him. And that was a bad time for it to happen to him. But, you know, like I said, Murphy's Law, right?
Bill, bigger picture here. You see a log jam here in the AFC West. The Chargers just get by the Eagles. The Raiders go down. Denver gets a surprising win over the Cowboys. Right now, when you look at the AFC, you see the Bills go down. They're the surefire number one seed. Not so fast. This is just kind of muddying up here for the Chiefs. We've said for the last few weeks, can this team get back on track? Can we be a part of the conversation? The next 2 weeks may tell us the tale, but did you see enough today to let you know that this team can be a part of the conversation for this division going forward?
I would tell you this. I think the NFL is a log jam.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just the AFC West.
Yep.
Did you see what happened today? If any of you guys, I don't know if any of you guys gamble, But if any of you guys gamble, did you see what happened today?
Yes, sir.
Are you kidding me? This is a Vegas weekend, and nobody saw it coming, right?
With the Bills, especially, right?
Right.
Bills and
9-6.
Cowboys, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Against the Jaguars.
Right.
My survivor pool's gone.
Ditto.
Everyone's is.
No, I'm just telling you, man, it is crazy. So you watch this, so you don't just talk about the AFC West. Are they in the picture? Are they out of the picture? I don't know who, except for the bottom 5 teams, are going to be out of the picture, right? We all know Cincinnati's a good football team, and they got spanked today.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
you see this happen every other week. It's the old saying. I've always said this, and Marty Schottenheimer always used to say it. It's not who you play; it's when you play them. You know, you might be banged up, nicked up, injuries, sub players, matchup problems, yada yada yada, and then you get a win, and you don't even expect to get a win. So, yeah, it's crazy, and it's a crazy league right now. But look, right now we're at the halfway point of the season, right? Okay, so I don't think you can guesstimate anything that can happen. Who would have thought at the start of the season, if we had talked about right now, the Raiders would be without their head coach and star receiver, right? Nobody. So we don't even know what's going to happen next week. I mean, Aaron Rodgers catches COVID, and he claimed he was vaccinated. I mean, come on. This is like days of our lives. This is days of our life soap opera.
Right, no question.
You don't know what's going to happen next.
Right.
You're right.
Do we take anything positive out the fact end of the game? Chiefs need to come up with a big play. Patrick Mahomes rolls out, avoids trouble, finds Hill down the field to ice the game. Is that something they can build on, or are we just, wishing for stuff right now?
They scored 13 points, William.
No doubt.
When was the last time they scored 13 points under Patrick Mahomes' leadership?
That's right. Let alone in one
quarter.
You want to
look that one up?
Game, right?
Well, it was 3 2. It was 3 2 weeks ago. So.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, this offense averaged 27 points a game through 5 and 12 through the last 4. So clearly something is amiss. We know this. What is it? How do you fix it? William alluded to the running the ball in the first drive. I think we had 7 rushes on that drive. Then I think at the beginning of the fourth quarter, we had 6 more runs the rest of that time. There's some inexcusable things happening, and where does the blame fall? Is this a Patrick Mahomes problem? Is this an Andy Reid problem? I thought the offensive line actually played well today in parts. Who can we blame this on?
I don't know if it's hard to just say, what are we blaming it on?
You're right.
Because we won. So
right.
there's no really blame. But, Niang went out, right? So
Wiley came in. Yeah.
What? Where's Remmers?
Remmers is out apparently with some mystery injury, and so is Colin Saunders. They've both been inactive the past couple of weeks. So.
And then Niang goes out.
Wiley, yep.
Yeah. So that was he got. Whew, did you watch that? I mean, they got after him big time. So I don't think Patrick Mahomes was comfortable with that situation. So there's a lot to go around. These guys, they've seen everything. They've had struggles. They've had interactions. They've had division in between themselves. When you're in a locker room with that many personalities, okay, like I've been in a locker room, I know. But when you're in a locker room with one of the best athletes in all of professional sports, when you're in the same locker room with a guy that's getting endorsements out the wazoo like a Travis Kelce, when you're in a locker room with a personality, a strong, dominant personality that feels a little bit unappreciated, like Chris Jones, when Tyrann Mathieu, so let me tell you, there's a force, there's a competition level outside of football that takes place. And it does.
Yeah.
And it's human nature. It is human nature. And everybody wants to be the best, the brightest, the biggest, the star. Well, what are you getting? What did you get for that? What did you get? I mean, when those conversations take place and those things happen, they can be distracting. And that's just a fact. Okay. Do you remember the first year that Patrick was here, that there would be, and he was going to be a starter, that his agent, Lee Steinberg, said, there's not going to be any endorsements.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything this year. Remember?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It's
yeah. And do you remember the year he had?
5,050. I mean, that's what.
But I'm not. Look. I can appreciate that, and everybody's deserved their due. You go get what you deserve, man. I'm all about that. However, I also know that the NFL saw nothing like Patrick Mahomes his first year. Nobody had. Nobody's seen anything like it. Nobody. And things take place, and things mature, and things you win a Super Bowl, and then let's reap all the rewards you can. I get that. I get that. I get the family. I get the TikToks. I get all of it. Okay, make money. Make as much money as you can. Go for it. This is the world we live in. What's wrong with him? Where is this offense? I just know that when I became a microcosm of him, and things happen in my life, and you get married, and you have kids, and you have problems, and you do commercials, and you do stuff, and just a very small. All those things take away from what you're trying to do. And so I can't imagine what he's going through. A friend once told me this. I mean, I had a house and remodeled and did and moved, and moving sucks, by the way. I know William Jackson knows.
William knows that one.
No lie. I'm with you 100%.
It's the worst, right?
It's worse.
If you want a true flat divorce, go build a house together. I mean, the builder wants to call you every day. What tile do you want? How kind of wood do you want? Cabinet color. What do you want to do? Every day. He needs an answer. I mean, I don't know what that's like. And you got a baby? I had babies. We had babies. Every baby. Baby. No.
Right.
It's tough,
and that
man.
in itself takes its toll, no doubt. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
and you put all that together. Yeah.
In your mind, when your mind isn't, the old question goes back to, is it easier to become the heavyweight champ or to defend the heavyweight champ? That's it right there in a nutshell.
That's it. Defending is the one.
When you're hungry and you want it, you can get it. Right, William?
You can go after it.
Rocky Balboa and Rocky 3. We've seen it time and again.
That's it. Because and it is, because when you attain this goal, the hunger and all that, human nature again comes into play. I've worked so hard for it. Now I have it. And it has to be hard to keep that energy up and build. And you know about this better than anyone. But when you talk about the locker room and the endorsements and all these things come, then your leash for messing up is even shorter in many players' opinions I've talked to, or just people, because if you're doing all this extra stuff and anything goes wrong, people may look at you side-eye. Do you get that to a certain degree? Do you think that's true?
They're 100% true, William. Yeah, and I don't care what profession you're in, right? When you were doing news, okay, here in Kansas City, and you still are, but when you do it, and all of a sudden you get all these other people wanting you to do stuff, and and people, how much did they pay you? And that roofing company, what did they pay you to do that? Who did, right? Hey, that Subway, what did they pay you, right? And they're looking at you, and they get mad and they get jealous.
Oh,
right?
it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a speaking
I mean-
engagement with Derek Thomas one time like that. And I think it was a regular deal. He got $5,000, I got 3,500. And people like, for what? Right? It's just, yeah, it's a different thing, right?
Yeah, and you go back into your workplace and they're mad at you.
Right.
Right?
and you get that. That's real talk right there. You know it.
Yeah.
100%.
That is real
Yep.
talk. That's real
100%.
talk.
Yeah.
Bill, we know we got to get you out of here. We know it's Yellowstone night. It's about to happen. We can't thank you enough for being a part of the Red Zone Report, my man. It's a win. We got to be happy with that. 5-4 and a lot of opportunities ahead. Las Vegas next week. That's going to be a slobber knocker. And we got the Cowboys coming up after that. It's going to be good. Bill, always thank you so much, my man. Thank you for hopping in.
Thanks, guys. Have a good
All
one.
right. See you, Bill. All right.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
All right.
Well, guys, as we kind of put a ribbon on this, Chiefs 13, Packers 7, it wasn't always the most entertaining thing to watch. It wasn't always the most fun, exciting thing that we've seen in the Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid era of Kansas City Chiefs football. But the fact remains, this is not a win that we saw probably a couple weeks ago, on this schedule. And it's a win that has occurred. And when you look around the league and you look at some of the things that happened, we talked about, the Bills go lose to the Jaguars 9-6. When's the last time the Bills scored 6 with Josh Allen? All these things are happening, and every game's its own entity. And it's, you're more than halfway through the season now, and you've got opportunities coming up. Guys, do we think, Noah, that this is a team that we start turning things around here? We got still 3 of the next 4 at home. You're 5-4. You're right there with the Chargers needed a field goal today to beat the Eagles. You're laughing at me. This Chiefs team's right there, buddy.
I mean, we saw what happened to the Raiders. They lose to the Giants. We saw what happened to the Cowboys, who's our next game after the Raiders. They get blown out. The door's blown off by the Denver Broncos. So, yeah, the Chiefs are there, but we have to remember, while this was a win, it gets us right back in the thick of things for the AFC and definitely for our division here in the AFC West. We talked about a little bit before we came on. We mentioned it a little here. What would have happened out there and how different would that game have been and this post-game show have been if Aaron Rodgers is starting that game?
You're right. But before this happened, we talked about how, this roster is top to bottom. This is a top 10 defense. They got Aaron Jones. They got Devontae Adams. They got Cobb. They got all these players, and they couldn't move the ball. They couldn't do anything. And the truth of it is, I think by the end of it, Jordan Love, at least throws for 200. He threw the one pick to Snead. In a lot of ways, he outplayed Patrick Mahomes. And you're right. I'm not
that's
saying
my point.
Well,
moving forward, that's troubling.
It is very troubling, William. This Patrick Mahomes situation, you see the body language, but you kind of asked Bill Maas this, and I like the question because you saw him complete the pass. You saw him evade a rush, make a move, and throw the ball back across his body to a Tyreek Hill, a play that we've seen 100 times. But it's been a while, and it happened, and that got us the first down, and that wins the game. Momentum, is that something that, you saw how Mahomes' body language after that, maybe there's something to kickstart something there.
And that's what you look for, anything that can, give you that positive vibe. And I think that's why I alluded to that one play, because in the past, he's had interceptions every week, or he's had something that happened, had one today, but it was a free play. So we don't really count that one. But when you get that, that's something to build, momentum on. And all those small, it's still something that Patrick can say, well, you know what? That was me. That's me getting back in my head and that kind of thing. So if we can get a continuation of that, as I alluded to early, first series of the game, they went down like they were a team possessed, looking to get in the end zone, and they did. Then they fizzled out. But in the end, when they needed it, that's the Patrick Mahomes that Chiefs fans have grown accustomed to seeing do those kind of things. And he did it here, and it secured the win. So small, and they have a lot of work to do, but at least he can put his head on his pillow tonight and say, you know what? The last thing I did was a good thing, and go from there.
And I think that's important because a lot of people have questioned this about maybe it's starting to be mental with him more than it is physical. And it's not really the defense. It's just kind of getting in his head. And we've had some bad luck, and it just keeps compounding one game after another and one interception after another. So I thought that when I saw it too, William. So I agree with you. That was a great question that you brought up there that you posed to Bill Maas, because when I saw it, I was like, that's going to be the last throw he makes. We're just going to kneel it. That's some good vibes, good energy, good for his mental state moving forward. So I'm not sure if it's going to work, if it's going to be the thing, but it can't hurt. It can only help. So
definitely something to build on.
You got the Raiders coming up, guys. I know we're a week away from that next Sunday night. Chiefs Raiders at Las Vegas. I think this game is the importance is immeasurable right now. When you look at this division, you look at the AFC, look at the way the Raiders played today against the Giants. They've got losses against the Giants and Bears. Now they have some pretty good wins on the schedule too. They beat the Ravens in week 1. They have some wins on the schedule, but the Chiefs go there next week. This is a rival. They don't have their head coach. We know what's happened with Henry Ruggs. They signed Deshaun Jackson. The Chiefs, Noah, need to go to Las Vegas. They need to win this game. They're going to be a slight favorite when this opens up. They are. The Chiefs covered the Chiefs pushed a spread today. They almost covered. They pushed a spread today if you got this for 7. So I think next week is huge because if you can get to 6-4, you got the Cowboys coming in the week after that who just looked lost against the Denver Broncos. So this AFC West is just crazy, and I don't know what to make of it. What do you make of it, Noah?
Yeah, that's going to be tough. The Raiders, during the Chiefs game, we learned that Deshaun Jackson let people know that he's going to be a Las Vegas Raider. I don't know how quickly he can get up to speed, if he'll be ready to roll and run some 9 routes. That shouldn't be too difficult to get in the playbook and just run deep down the field. Let Derek Carr launch it down there to him. But that is going to be a tough game. It's a division game, so those are always tough. A lot of people thought the Saints, even with Trevor Siemian, would roll over the Falcons today. Not so fast. Matt Ryan got the job done there in the end. They come away with a good win in New Orleans in the Superdome against the Saints. So I think it's going to be, like Clint said earlier, a slobber knocker. It's going to come down to it. But right now, I might have to pick the Raiders. This offense is beyond lost. I can't even say lost anymore. They cannot find themselves. And hopefully, like William said, and like I thought when I watched it, that last throw to Tyreek Hill is just good momentum and they can build on that. But until I see it for a full game, until I see them really clicking, Kelsey getting open more and Mahomes finding him when he does. Kelsey was open twice in this game. He threw it deep to McCole Hardman. He threw some weird swing pass that had no prayer to Darrell Williams, and Kelsey's right in the middle of the field. No? Okay. And so we're just waiting for this thing to click on all cylinders, fire on all cylinders. And until I see it, I might have to go with the Raiders.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And we saw Josh Gordon for one play today, right?
Right.
Something like that, right?
It's almost time that you just, I hate to say close the book on it, but it's just not, it's just not happening. Whether it be he's not showing enough in practice, whether it be he's not being targeted when the snaps he's in there, something's not right.
As long as we have McCole Hardman out there dropping third down passes and trying to fumble the football, I don't think Josh Gordon can see the field. McCole's bringing it, man.
Oh, man.
It's rough right now, right?
Well,
exactly.
It is, guys. It is a game that you're not going to look back on with a lot of reverence, but it may be one that we look back on and say that the stars aligned and this had to be a win today. And if Aaron Rodgers is here, maybe it doesn't happen. And maybe we're 4-5 and the momentum is completely shot. But here we are, 5-4. This is the NFL. 7 games to go. I think the Chiefs need to go 5-3 to ensure a playoff spot. That'd get you to 10-7. We'll see what happens, guys. This is going to be fun. This has been the Red Zone Report. William, it's always great to talk to you, but it's even better to do it after a win, my friend.
No question. I agree with you wholeheartedly too, right? So it's been nice. And again, nice getting with you guys every week, and Clint, we appreciate it. And Noah and Bill, always insightful. So it's a good time, man. And we'll try to keep this positive thing going, huh?
Let's do it next week, guys. It's going to be fun. The Raiders come to town, or we go to Las Vegas. So it's going to be a fun one. Noah, we better get our plane tickets booked, buddy. Let's do it. All right, guys. For Red Zone Report, Clint Schweitzer, Noah Groniger, William Jackson, thank you so much. Enjoy the victory night and enjoy the week. Thank you guys so much.